You ever look at some old object, in a museum or an antique shop and just wonder, what's its story? Well, some stories are a lot darker than others. Today, we're diving into some of history's most lethal objects, items that seem to carry a truly terrible price.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Can an object really carry a death sentence? I mean, really? Well, according to history and some pretty chilling stories, the answer is a terrifying yes. And we're not talking about just a little bad luck here. We're talking about a trail of bodies left behind by seemingly innocent things. Let me show you a few quick examples. So this is the Busby Stoop chair. The story goes that in 1702, a convicted murderer named Thomas Busby cursed it on his way to be executed. He swore that anyone who dared to sit in his favorite chair would die a sudden, violent death. And you know what? They did. We're talking airmen during World War II, a local chimney sweep, a delivery driver. The list just kept growing. It got so bad that the local museum finally just hung it 5 feet off the ground so no one could ever sit in it again. Okay, next up, the woman from Lumb. This little limestone statue was carved about 5,500 years ago, and it's got a nickname, the Goddess of Death. You want to know why? Because its first owner, Lord Elfont, and his entire family, all 7 of them, died within 6 years. The next 2 families who owned it, completely wiped out. Now it sits behind glass in a museum, and get this, even the curator who handled it died suddenly.
And of course, we have to talk about the most famous one of all, the Curse of the Pharaohs. The legend warned that death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king. Sure enough, just months after opening King Tutankhamun's tomb, the guy who paid for the whole expedition, Lord Carnarvon, was dead. It sparked this global panic, and it's a story that still gives us chills today.
But honestly, those are just the warm-ups. There is one object whose legend of death and utter despair outshines every single one of them, and that is the Hope Diamond. The whole saga starts in India, where this massive blue diamond was supposedly plucked right from the eye of a statue of the goddess Sita. That theft is said to be the origin, the very beginning of the curse. Eventually, it made its way to the French royal court, where it was worn by Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, a glittering symbol of their power, right before they both met the guillotine. Then it made its way across the ocean and fell into the hands of a wealthy American family, the McLeans.
And this is where the story gets really wild. The new owner, a socialite named Evelyn Walsh McLean, actually said these words. She scoffed at the curse. And the result? It was absolutely devastating. Her 9-year-old son was killed in a car crash. Her daughter died of an overdose. Her husband left her and later died in a mental institution. And the family fortune? It just evaporated. The curse wasn't just bad luck. It was like a predator that hunted her family.
So for centuries, you had to actually own or touch an object for its curse to get you. But then the internet happened, and the rules changed completely. Suddenly, a curse could go viral.
This is a pretty fascinating shift, right? Back in the year 2000, a painting showed up on eBay. It was called "The Hands Resist Him." The description claimed it was haunted, that the little figures in the painting would actually move around at night. It pretty much became the world's first internet curse, a curse that could supposedly reach you right through your computer screen.
The reaction was just unbelievable. Thousands of people who only looked at a JPEG of the painting online, started reporting that they felt physically sick. They felt this overwhelming sense of dread. Some people even fainted. This is a perfect example of what's called a mass psychogenic response, basically a curse spreading like a digital virus.
So, what is really going on here? Are these objects actually enchanted with some dark magic? Or is there something else happening? Well, the answer isn't in the supernatural. It's in the fascinating, and sometimes pretty frightening, wiring of our own brains.
Okay, first up, we've got something called confirmation bias. It works like this. If someone tells you a chair is cursed, your brain immediately goes on a mission to find proof. You'll remember every single person who sat in it and had something bad happen, but you'll totally forget about the dozens of people who sat in it and were perfectly fine. Your own brain builds the case for the curse all by itself.
But then there's something even more powerful, the nocebo effect. Now, we've all heard of the placebo effect, right? Where your belief that something will heal you actually works. Well, nocebo is its evil twin.
In actual clinical trials, people who are given a totally harmless sugar pill but are told it might cause nausea have actually developed nausea. If you truly deeply believe something is going to hurt you, your body can create real physical symptoms. Your belief can literally make you sick.
But what if the threat isn't just in your head? What if the curse is, well, what if it's just chemistry? A lot of ancient artifacts are genuinely dangerous. That bright green color in Victorian wallpaper, it was made with arsenic. The Romans used lead to line their aqueducts. Some beautiful gemstones are even naturally radioactive. The curse might not be magic at all, it might just be poison.
So let's go back to King Tut's tomb for a second and look at it this way. When Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon broke the seal on that chamber, they weren't just breathing ancient air. They were likely inhaling thousands of years' worth of toxic mold spores, things like aspergillus, which can cause deadly lung infections. The Pharaoh's revenge might have just been a tragic but scientific case of biohazardous archaeology.
So we have the science, we have the psychology, we have these perfectly logical explanations for why these legends even exist in the first place. And yet, that's still not the end of the story.
The science gives us these logical answers, but it doesn't quite explain the way the stories, does it? It doesn't really silence the enduring terror of objects like the debug box, this wine cabinet that was bought on eBay that terrified its owners, even after the seller admitted he made the whole story up. The fear it created became real, no matter where it came from.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really unsettling question. We know the nocebo effect is real. We know that your belief in a curse can cause actual, measurable, and sometimes even fatal harm to your body. So, does it really matter if the curse is supernatural or if it's all in your head? The outcome is exactly the same.